We're about to look at underground working, core cut, pot end and surface extension. Common to both overhead and underground is what happens in the foreman's office.
Right, gentlemen, this is Castlewood Avenue Coleraine.
Here our electrician and his mate receive the daily work instruction. They check their authorization, confirm that everyone is safety trained.
Right. Now just have a check at your tools there.
Check their equipment and tools before heading to the site. Remember that live working is always a two-man operation. Looking carefully at the cable, identify its type and select a suitable joint. This is a PILC cable. There are also PVC split concentric cables and PVC steel wire armoured cables. At the site, there's time to double check the location and satisfy yourself that there are no NIE personnel working on the system. As the weather conditions are reasonable, you should set up the site, put on your safety clothing and place warning signs around the site in accordance with Chapter 8 requirements to ensure the safety of the public. Before going any further, you should attempt to isolate the system by pulling fuses and fitting caution notices, but only if the street light is fed from a DOE mini pillar or wood pole control box. This is the ideal way to work. Even if you do this, it's still essential to treat the system as live, unless it's proven otherwise. That said, pulling fuses rarely happens, and in most cases you'll be operating on a live system. Firstly, examine the joint hole to make sure that it's adequate and safe. Remember, safe access in and out of the hole is essential. So, at the site and ready to carry out a pot end, you now positively identify the cable. Trace the cable back from the column to the joint hole position. This is one way of making sure that you're working on the right cable. In rainy conditions, the jointing frame must be erected over the joint bay. To prepare the cable, first cut and remove the outer hessian. Clean and prepare the armours. Once the armours are clean, cut and terminate the armours. Apply gentle heat with a blowtorch to the inner hessian. Then carefully cut and remove. Apply gentle heat to the bituminous papers. Unwind and remove and clean the lead sheath. Prepare the lead sheath and make the earth connection between the armour and the lead sheath. Remove the oxide layer from the lead sheath and fit the earth continuity strap. Having prepared the cable, you're now ready to enter live working conditions. All PPE should therefore be applied. Apply a temporary shrouding to the exposed lead sheath. Carefully remove the belt papers by tearing them off against the tape binder. After which you need to insert a wedge. Then cut and remove the jute fillers. Using approved test equipment, check for the live conductor. Insert the core cutting wedge in position, then cut the phase conductor using the approved insulated tools and check both ends for a live core. Fully insulate the live core using heat shrink sleeving and end cap. Identify the live core using red PVC tape. Regarding the neutral conductor, simply cut and insulate exactly in the same way as the phase. Then remove both the temporary shrouding and the earth continuity strap. Allow the heat shrink sleeving to cool and bind the insulated cores together. Screen the fully insulated cores using tin copper mesh. Having fully insulated the conductors, it's now safe to remove your live working PPE. Finally, prepare the lead sheath. Place in position the main pot end cap and shrink down. The electrical work is now complete. Any damaged column or cable lengths have been isolated and removed. Finally, record the work done. And either the electrician or a supervisor should measure and record the position of the pot end before clearing up. The cable has been positively identified, core cut and permanently pot-ended. Today we plan to replace the damaged street lighting column and reconnect the service. As the cable has already been installed, you must treat it as live and core cut before fitting the cutout. To prepare the cable, put on your PPE, use appropriate tools and strip the outer PVC sheath. You then cut through the earth, followed by the neutral. Using the test lamps, you check the phase to see if it is live or dead. In this case, the phase is dead, so you can proceed to cut the phase and double check that it is indeed dead before removing your PPE. Remember to check your test equipment before and after using. The next stage is to fit the cutout, ensuring that all earth connections are made. The cutout is then fitted, and before carrying out the transition joint, you must do insulation and continuity tests to ensure that the new cable has not been damaged during installation. Back in the joint bay, the electrician has already core cut and prepared the live PILC cable for jointing onto the new split concentric cable. Set up and cut the new cable to length. Clean the outer PVC sheath and slide the outer heat shrink sleeving into place beyond the jointing position. Measure, strip and prepare the split concentric cable and apply heat shrinkable materials. As you're about to work in live conditions, put on your PPE. The joint is aligned, and this is the time to check the overall dimensions. Set the earth conductor on the split concentric cable, cut it to length and connect to the earth core that has been wiped to the lead sheath of the PILC cable. Position the heat shrink sleeving over the connector and shrink down. Then repeat this procedure for the neutral and then the phase. Ensure that the cores are sufficiently apart to allow the heat shrink sleeving to be shrunk down without damage to the adjacent cores. Allow the sleeving to cool and then realign the joint. Apply the earth screen across the joint and secure. Your PPE can now safely be removed. Centralize the outer sleeve over the joint and shrink down into position. Remember, the gas cylinder should never be brought into the joint bay, and inflammable materials should be kept out of reach of the blowtorch. Do not disturb or move the joint until the heat shrinkable material has cooled. Finally, before leaving the site, go back to the column, complete the polarity check and close the column door. Like with the pot end work, you should clear up the site and record the work done. Normally, a civil contractor will backfill the hole, bedding the cable in sand and replacing the warning tape. If you've removed any DOE mini-pillar fuses, remember to refit them, switch the system on and test. These two videos should make the job clearer and remove any doubts. Use them as a refresher and play them once every month or so. And if you're in any doubt about any part of the operation, then speak to your supervisor.